the beautiful pink city of India to attend a culturally rich music festival at Jaigarh. And today's journey is very simple. I'm ditching my DSLR for this new smartphone called OPPO Find X9 Pro. Ever since its launch, it's created a strong buzz in the market. In fact, some are even calling it the best camera phone of 2025. So it's time to find out if it's actually true or not. To help execute this thing better, I am Yashadhana from Digit, joined by our tech expert Krishika. Behind the camera is Raj Kishore, and running everything else, driver, accountant, manager, helper and director is Naren Sharma. Before we go ahead, let me be honest. I don't really think that a smartphone camera can replace a DSLR. I've used too many smartphones in past that promise the world but fall apart the moment lights go dim and the distance increases. So today, I'm not here as a believer. In fact, I'm here as a solid doubter. Unless this phone truly proves itself, I'm ready to say, see, I told you so. Well, before we reach there, let me tell you about some capabilities of this phone. It packs a 200 megapixel Hasselblad telephoto camera, and this is the first time we are seeing it on any smartphone. Before we reach the venue, first let's talk about the design. The OPPO Find X9 Pro feels premium, sleek and surprisingly compact for a camera-heavy flagship device. It is available in two colors, silk white and titanium charcoal. The flat back and sides fit naturally in the hand while taking photos. The camera module that has iconic Hasselblad identity and the overall finish makes it look like a true flagship tool. Despite packing huge sensors, it doesn't feel bulky and the weight distribution is solid, making it easier to shoot for long hours. They say photography is about painting with light. But what happens if the light is chaotic or you're stuck in a crowd in a 300-year-old fort at a concert? On paper, this thing is a beast. It features a pro-level Hasselblad master camera system that consists of a 50-megapixel 1x1.28-inch main sensor with a f1.5 aperture, a massive 200-megapixel 1x1.56-inch f2.1 telephoto sensor, and a 50-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and also a 50-megapixel front camera. But my years of experience in tech has taught me one thing. Specs on a sheet don't matter. What matters is results and experience. So we have reached Jaigarh and we are surrounded by heritage architecture all around us and a high energy live concert tonight. So we're gonna find out if this phone is for photography nerds or if it is suitable for anybody who wants to capture the moment. I'm using the 200 megapixel Hasselblad telephoto. This is a huge sensor that comes with default focal length of 70 mm, which is a sweet spot for portraits. I'm capturing all of these artists from a distance, getting that natural compression without disturbing them. And just look at the edge separation here. It's super sharp. OPPO calls this the Hasselblad portrait mode and the color consistency is incredible. Even with the flaring lights behind them, the skin tones are accurate, and if I need to go closer, I can just push this to 6x using an in-sensor crop that still gives me a 50 megapixel image, or even up to 13.2x with computational photography. And when you switch to portrait mode, the subject separation, the bokeh, all beautiful. The skin tones stay true, the highlights aren't harsh, and the way it handles background lights is extremely impressive. These portrait samples speak for themselves. But if that still isn't enough, then the Hasselblad Teleconverter is where things get even crazy. This thing instantly extends the zoom range to a massive 40x with optical grade clarity, and it does it without compromising sharpness the way typical digital zooms do. This is the first time I'm seeing something like this on a smartphone. The kind of depth, the kind of compression, it's just professional level. Look at where I'm standing and I can zoom in all the way. The best part is how seamlessly it attaches and aligns perfectly with the telephoto module. And just with this small addition, your OPPO Find X9 Pro transforms into a pocketable long-range camera. You get a tighter field of view, better subject isolation, and far cleaner distant shots than any smartphone can normally manage. Whenever you attach the telephoto converter, you have to go inside the More menu inside the default camera app and select Hasselblad Teleconverter. Now let's try switching to the 50 megapixel primary camera with Sony LYT-828 sensor. The dynamic range here is the real test. We have bright Rajasthani sun hitting these fort walls and deep shadows in the archways. But despite that, just look at the results. The device balances the exposure perfectly. the shadows have depth, but the highlights also aren't blown out. It feels punchy and vibrant but still natural, and that's because this sensor isn't doing just basic HDR stuff. It's the real-time triple exposure. It looks almost like you're seeing the fort with your own eyes. When we talk about ultra-wide camera, they're probably the weakest of the entire camera system.
This is precisely what we've seen on most of the phones in the industry, even if they are a flagship.
But when I used the OPPO Find X9 Pro, I was genuinely surprised because it has a 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera.
It's sharp corner to corner and the color science matches the main camera almost perfectly. Jaipur's vibrant outfits, even the open sky, everything looks consistent. But festivals don't stay still. The lights here changes fast. What was golden and bright a few minutes ago is now starting to dip behind the fort wall.
The sun's down and it's getting cold. Concerts are a real nightmare for smartphones because of all the strobing lights, LED panels, moving subjects and low light everywhere. But OPPO Find X9 Pro handles low light better than most of the phones I've seen.
The main sensor pulls more light thanks to its fast f1.5 aperture, so faces stay bright even when the stage lights cut out. The ultra-wide stays surprisingly usable and far more controlled highlight. The telephoto also doesn't fall apart like typical phones do at night. At moderate zoom range 3x to 6x, it still gives you crisp results as long as your subject isn't moving too fast. Even the 13.2x shots hold surprising detail for a concert environment. Combined with the stage mode inside the camera, you end up with photos that looks bold, clean and dramatically lit instead of chaotic and blown out.
So zoom is great, details are great, but what about motion? It's that part of a smartphone camera where the weakest ones tap out and the real ones show strength. Find X9 Pro supports 4K videos at up to 120 frames per second. This is a game changer for slow motion videos. If you want, you can further slow it down in post without losing any quality.
The stabilization here is the key. I'm being bumped around by the crowd, but the OIS on the 200 megapixel telephoto keeps the shot steady. Plus, it's recording in Dolby Vision HDR, so the contrast between the bright stage lights and the dark sky is preserved. I'm standing way back, but watch this zoom. Even at night, the telephoto holds its own. You lose a tiny bit of texture compared to the main sensor, but the result is surprisingly solid. I can even see sweat on singer's face. Inside the More menu, you also get features like Expand Mode, Pro modes and creative tools to experiment with framing and colors.
Speaking of the front camera, the 50 megapixel sensor delivers sharp, well-detailed selfies with natural skin tones.
The front camera does an excellent job of preserving natural skin tones, even in challenging lighting conditions. It manages highlights and exposures exceptionally well. This camera is more than capable of handling such environments with ease.
It's been a long day. We arrived here in the morning, attended all the day concerts, and now it's time to attend the night concerts. We clicked a lot of 4K videos, a lot of high-res photos, and the battery, there's still a lot of juice left that can capture the entire concert. I'm pretty sure about that.
This phone packs a massive 7500 mAh silicon carbon battery. This is genuinely impressive for a flagship that is this thin.
Under the hood, you get MediaTek Dimensity 9500 chipset paired with 16GB RAM and 512GB storage to keep everything fast and smooth. I've been using it for about 2 days now and I've literally felt zero lags in the entire performance. So what's the verdict? Is the OPPO Find X9 Pro overall the best phone for travel and concert photography?
After clicking hundreds of photos in very light conditions and putting all of OPPO's claim to test, I can confidently say that I am totally blown away by the results of this phone.
So I'll be honest, I started out as a solid doubter because I've never heard anything like this on a smartphone. But after spending some time with the OPPO Find X9 Pro, taking some photos, testing it out here and there in Jaipur, I would say that the photos and videos that this smartphone took surpassed my expectations.
If you look at these results, the clarity of the zoom, the cinematic video, and the fact that it survived this chaos, I think the answer is yes. It didn't just document the festival, it captured the feeling of it.
And yes, one final thought. Pricing.
OPPO Find X9 Pro starts at Rs 1,09,999 for 16GB RAM plus 512GB storage. That if you pair with Hasselblad Teleconverter kit that costs Rs 29,999, the entire bundle costs around 1,40,000 rupees. This means you won't have to carry a heavy camera, lenses, batteries and a charger with you and still get almost similar results. That alone makes it a solid alternative for travelers and concert lovers.
For most of us, it's not just a backup of the camera. This is the camera.